This video is a tour through the modern nation of Israel. Here is a map of the countries that surround the Mediterranean Sea. We can zoom in and see the Middle East. Part of the Middle East is known as the Levant, and the Levant includes Israel, Jordan, Syria, and Lebanon. Here is the flag of the nation of Israel with the Star of David in the middle. Most trips to Israel start at the Ben Gurion Airport, which is quite near to the modern city of Tel Aviv. Just south of Tel Aviv is Joppa Harbor, where Jonah tried to escape from God in a boat. North of Tel Aviv is Caesarea Maritime, where we see both the Roman Aqueduct and the Roman Colosseum. East of this ancient Roman city we find Mount Carmel, where Elijah battled with the prophets of Baal. And east of Mount Carmel we find the fortress at Megiddo with its gates and its walls, the future site of Armageddon. Just north, across the Jezreel Valley, is Nazareth with its steep cliff. This is where Jesus grew up. Further north is the village of Cana, where Jesus performed his first miracle. All these locations are just west of the Sea of Galilee. On the northern shore of the Sea of Galilee, we find the fishing village of Capernaum with its ancient Jewish synagogue. Near Capernaum is the Mount of the Beatitudes, where Jesus gave his Sermon on the Mount. Here we have an aerial view of the Sea of Galilee, which is shaped like a harp. The northernmost part of Israel is the location of Mount Hermon, and Caesarea Philippi is nearby. Going back south to the Sea of Galilee, we find the modern city of Tiberias. The Sea of Galilee then flows into the Jordan River, where pilgrims often are baptized. Israel's geography is dominated by the Jezreel Valley and the Jordan Valley. Melting snow from Mount Hermon is the source of the Jordan River, which flows through the Jordan Valley, and then dumps into the Dead Sea, which can be seen in this aerial view. The Dead Sea is below sea level. It is very salty, and people almost can't sink because the water is so dense. At the northern end of the Dead Sea, on the western shore, is Qumran with all of its caves. This is where the Dead Sea Scrolls were first discovered in the late 1940s. Continuing south, still along the western shore, we find En-Gedi. This oasis in the desert is where King David escaped from King Saul. Nearby is Masada, where you can see the fortress built by King Herod on the top of the cliff. Near the southern shore, one can find the ruins of Sodom and Gomorrah, which were annihilated by fire and brimstone. The southernmost point in Israel is Eilat, which is a vacation city or resort city for Israelis right on the Red Sea, next door to the Jordanian city of Aqaba. Southern Israel is dominated by the Negev Desert. Heading back north through this desert, you will find Abraham's longtime home of Beersheba. Our journey ends in Jerusalem, the capital of Israel. This view shows the Temple Mount, the Dome of the Rock, and the Western Wailing Wall. Nearby, one can also find a display of the ancient city that includes a scale model of Herod's temple. Back to the Old City, we find the Via Dolorosa, or the 14-station Way of the Cross. Nearby, one finds the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, the site where Jesus was thought to have been crucified and buried. But another possibility is the Garden Tomb, which looks just as you'd expect Jesus' tomb to look. In this view, we can see the east gate of the Temple Mount. Looking east from the Temple Mount into the Kidron Valley, you will find both the Garden of Gethsemane and ancient olive trees. These olive trees are at the foot of Mount Olivet. Any such trip to the Holy Land will then cause the words of the Bible to jump right off the page.